Welcome back to another week of the Fantasy Baseball Waiver Wire Picks. I am Jason Beckner, joined here by JP. You can find him on Twitter at Dapscout. You can find myself on Twitter at JRBex. The good news is the Nielsen ratings are in. We are not canceled after 1 week. The Waiver Wire Picks is back again for yet another week, so we can breathe a sigh of relief. This is great news for us, right, JP? I mean, we're on a roll now. 2 in a row now.
I just got to tell you, my family was so relieved. They were calling me and they're like, "Hey, can we buy the brand name cereal this week?" And I said, "I don't know." And like you said, once the ratings came out and we were just above zero, I think we're like 0.001. I was so excited. The kids went out and bought their first like brand name like Coca-Cola versus like just I think it's called Coco is the generic.
Okay.
But yes, super excited. Can't wait to do this again. Let's help some people win some games.
Absolutely. So if you're unfamiliar and this is your first time, tuning in, this is our we're gonna run through about 5 or 6 guys that should be available in almost every one of your leagues. We also have an article that comes out on the website. That's you can get access to that. It's going to give you 20 plus more names that should be available on your waiver wire that can help you out. You can do that by getting access by joining up to one of our our plans over there at fantasysixpack.net. Go ahead and head over to fantasysixpack.net/plans. Again, you're going to get access to not only that accompanying article, but you're also going to get award-winning rankings. We got a Discord going, ton of other content. So go ahead and jump over there and sign up for those memberships. You can also go ahead and sign up and subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. Get great content all week long and all year long. But other than that, let's jump right into this week's our top picks for the waiver wire.
Yes.
First guy we're going to talk about here is Nolan Jones, a third baseman for the Colorado Rockies, who actually was on the bubble at spring training and possibly making the opening day roster. Was ultimately sent down to AAA, where he's actually just been on fire this first week, slashing 359, 479, slugging 872. This guy's got huge power upside. Right now, there's not necessarily a space in this lineup for him. However, you don't just call a guy up to ride the bench, so that he will get in the lineup. I just don't know how often he will. But if you have the roster flexibility as well as you're in one of these deeper leagues, I think you need to check your waiver wire, see if Nolan's available. What do you think, JP?
So Nolan Jones has been a name for a while, especially in dynasty formats. He was a top prospect in Cleveland for quite a while, and we looked at him from dynasty perspective as kind of not a can't miss prospect, but definitely top 25 that was going to be in Cleveland for a long time. The problem was strikeouts.
Mm-hmm.
He was in 30+% strikeouts when he was in Cleveland. And even when he started getting to the AAA in Cleveland as well, he started having 25 and 30% seasons respectively. When he got to, and here's the magic word, Colorado,
exactly,
everything changed. And in AAA, in 10 games, his strikeout percentage is 18% and his walk percentage was 16%. Now, I expect that number to go up. I mean, you don't have 6 years worth of kind of stats and something that changes that dramatically. But I do see definite gains, contact percentage gains, and I expect one important thing, Colorado,
yes,
to help a power hitter. So if he can make contact with the power that he's shown throughout his career, absolutely, I'm putting money on this guy. And again, Colorado. So yeah, Colorado.
exactly.
I expect amazing things to happen with Nolan, and just go out, get him. You want every piece of Colorado whenever you can, and when he's away from Colorado, well, maybe you sit him. But right now, especially with the strikeout rate kind of being in check, he's walking more. He's definitely a top waiver wire pick this week.
Yeah, especially for that power upside.
Oh,
All right, let's go ahead and jump over to our next guy here. This one's going to be Taj Bradley, starting pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays. He, came up, got called up just a couple days ago, made his debut. Looked actually awesome, especially for the first 4 innings. But he ended up going 5 innings, gave up 5 hits, 3 runs, but 8 Ks, only 1 walk, which you'd love to see that out of a rookie starting pitcher come up and show the command is there.
Right.
and then he got obviously demoted right away. But then lo and behold, what do you know? Another injury amongst all the injuries that have been happening this week. Springs goes down with an injury, and here we go. We have a hole in that rotation. So therefore, they recalled. I believe they recalled Bradley.
They sure did.
Yep. So he will be making at least one more start, if not more.
Right.
And if he is somehow on your waiver wire, you absolutely need to grab him, because if there's one thing that Tampa Bay does, for one, they develop players all over the diamond, but especially pitchers. So I'm all in on Taj Bradley.
And some of the additional pieces to that start. Again, if you look at just the kind of the final numbers, right? Like the 5.4 ERA, and you see the strikeouts as well. I mean, the strikeouts are great, but you kind of like, maybe as a guy that's going to take a while to get acclimated. But then when you start looking under the hood here and some of the additional stats that he had, it was a pretty impressive start. His expected ERA for that start was a 2.34, and he came out with 5.4. So that's almost 3 runs less, right? 40% K percentage, 5% walk percentage, which again, anytime you have a first start in the pros or even the first kind of 5 starts, I'm always looking at that control. If somebody can go in there and just be nails like that, that's obviously that bodes well. Yes, seeing it in the minors is great, but again, it's always you're in the majors. You see major league hitters who are going to have a whole new bag of tricks, and having that walk was just amazing. Now his batting average of balls in play was almost 500.
Wow.
So either that was defense or something like that. That's really kind of an issue there. But the other two things that really called out, right? Almost 40% ground balls and only 30% hard contact. So again, there's a lot to like there. Don't look at just the top level stats. Yes, if Taj Bradley is somehow still on your waiver wire, if somebody was like, oh yeah, I'm going to just drop him because he immediately got sent down. Yeah, go out and grab that guy. I think he's going to be there for a while, especially now with the news that they just announced probably about an hour ago that Springs is going to be out for a while, 2 months.
Yep.
So it's not like Taj is going back down anytime soon unless something else happens. This season, sorry to take this on a quick tangent, but this season, I know we're having quicker games, but doesn't it feel like everything else is compressed? Like we're actually watching like an entire season of games. Like, if how you could binge watch an entire season. I feel like I'm watching an entire season of MLB because all the injuries we were having, all the top prospects that are being sent down, brought back up. I mean, it's crazy. I almost fall asleep looking at Twitter because I'm like scared that I'm going to miss one more call out.
I know it is real crazy. I think it's still, not only is there a learning curve for the players, but I think as a viewer ourselves too. And it's just like, it's definitely a weird world right now with the baseball. And I'm not going to argue with the timing, but yeah, it's definitely just an adjustment period for sure.
For sure.
All right, let's jump over to another rookie that just got called up. And that is Edouard Julien, the second baseman for the Minnesota Twins. He was another guy that dominated the AFL last year, the Arizona Fall League, dominated spring training, ultimately was sent back down. I was another one of those guys that was on the bubble, the opening day roster. However, Jorge Polanco now is on the IL, so they called him up.
Right.
Look, he's appeared in a couple games now. He has his first hit. He has his first home run. The power's there. The bat-to-ball skills are there. I was in on Julien before this year, but like me and you we're dynasty guys. But for the redraft guys, you need to go see if Julian's available.
Right. So he got the home run out of the way right away. I mean, what better way to have that first game than to hit that home run? So we go from Nolan Jones, who had strikeout issues, to a batter who never really had them. He's always had a fantastic eye throughout the minors. I mean, if you want to talk about the 9 games that he was in AAA, 31%, fine, whatever, but that's a blip.
Mm-hmm.
In high A and double A, we're looking at only like about 25% or so, give or take, K rate, but almost a 20% walk rate. The guy has an amazing eye for the strike zone, and he has 15 plus home runs in the last 2 seasons as well. So it's not somebody who's just looking at the ball and being very tentative, because that's one of the things that we've seen with some of these really patient hitters, right? Luis Arez comes to mind, the other twin, right? Had a great average, but never let the bat come off his shoulder. This is somebody who is there to hit, and he has already shown you that he can hit. Go pick him up. I expect him to be up there for a while. This is somebody who is already a position player for the Twins for the future. And the other thing too, look at that pipeline that the Twins have. There's a ton of talent that should expect to come out this year, and a ton more talent just right under that. There are a couple other people that, and I don't want to go off this too much, but Manuel Rodriguez is another guy who I expect to be in the top 5 of prospects by the end of the year. There's just so much going on with the Twins. So it's one of those things like Tampa Bay, the Dodgers, the Twins, they all have an amazing farm system right now. You want to get a piece of that if you're in Dynasty, or even if you're in season long. You want to probably look at the next kind of layer here, especially if you have a deep enough bench. But Julien is a must buy right now.
Yep, and the playing time will be there, so go and see if he's available. I'll just go ahead and go to our next guy here. We're going to go to Austin Hayes, the outfielder for the Baltimore Orioles. Right now he's flashing 340, 380, slugging 638. He's got 4 multi-hit games, including a multi-hit game in 3 of his last 4. This guy's, I think, just one of those underrated players. He's just, he continues to put, the bat to the ball and get on base and get hit by a high average. So if he's available in your league, I think he needs to stop being overlooked. What about you? What do you think?
I don't understand why we're having, it feels like deja vu. I feel like I've talked about Austin Hayes as a waiver wire target every year for the last, 5 years. Draft him. Like, there should be no reason why he's on the waiver to begin with. He has shown consistent ability to get 15 plus home runs, especially the last 2 years, get the bat to ball, have a K rate of 20% or less the last 2 years, especially. He is a professional hitter in an Orioles lineup that has a ton of power, Rushman. I mean, you just name it. And you wanted another piece of that amazing Orioles lineup. And this is a great piece for that. But again, I swear we had this. Just go back a year. Just play the tape. We had the same talk last year and the year before. Austin Hayes should be universally owned. It is. There's no reason why he shouldn't be either right there as your 4th outfielder ready to jump in off your bench. He always goes on some great hot streaks, and then on top of that, with all the injuries out there, Austin Hayes is a definite starting outfielder in almost every league.
Yeah, especially with we're seeing now in the first week or so that Baltimore Orioles lineup is not like the full of guys that just don't score runs anymore. It's a little bit of an offensive. I wouldn't call it a juggernaut, but they're starting to put some pieces together and score a couple crooked numbers up there. So definitely stop not drafting Austin Hayes. I know it's a double negative, but start drafting Austin Hayes.
Respect the Hayes. That's
exactly.
Respect the Hayes.
Exactly.
Looking at you.
Exactly. Go out and get some Austin Hayes if he's available. Let's go from one outfielder to the next. We're talking about Brandon Marsh, the outfielder for the Philadelphia Phillies. This was, we were talking about this, shameless plug here, but on my On Deck Circle podcast, which airs every Wednesday on the Fan Six Pack channel. But that trade for Ohapi between the Philadelphia and the Angels, 1-for-1 between him and Marsh. It's like can't really. It's hard to find not only that a win-win for both teams, but almost instantly because right now Brandon Marsh kind of was just given up on in LA. He's finding his groove here in Philadelphia. Since arriving in Philly last August, he's slashing 307, 347, 528, 5 home runs, 21 runs scored, 23 RBIs. He's reached base safety in his last 9 games. We're starting to kind of see.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. Yeah. I think he's kind of like one of those guys where it's like, change the scenery, mixing things up, a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. I think, if he's available, you absolutely need to be grabbing Brandon Marsh. And he's part of another powerful offense. So,
well, he's going to be a part of a powerful offense. Let's be honest, the Phillies stumbled out the gates this season. I mean, there's just no way around it. Brandon Marsh is somebody who we kept expecting to be a preeminent power hitter / power speed combo / next guy. I mean, he was just always kind of the next guy, draft him. He's going to be up there. And it just never really kind of fully broke out at the Angels. I mean, he had some great seasons, don't get me wrong, but it just never was up to expectations. The changes that have occurred so far in Philly have been phenomenal, right? He's making better contact. His whiff percentage is down almost like half than what it was last time. His chase rate is down. And he's looking at that first pitch, which used to be notorious like first pitch swinger. So there's a lot of things there that I am extremely excited about with Brandon Marsh as well, because you're looking at somebody who has probably 25, 20 home runs and maybe 25 stolen bases because of the new stolen bases rules. He's a legitimate speed guy too.
Yeah.
And then when that lineup gets fully back, right? You're looking at the possibility of some really great numbers out of him as well if this keeps up. The other thing that we really want to point out, the last year with the Angels before he went to the Phillies, which we want to talk about those amazing 2 games, right? But with the Angels, he was at 35% again K rate. Now he's at 20. If he can even keep that at 25, he's got a good enough bat. He makes a great contact that we're looking at somebody who can just destroy the ball if he has a chance to do it. And so far, he's showing that the batting average of balls in play is going to obviously come down. Some of these other things are going to stabilize. But if these other gains are really there, and like you said, change of scenery, you got to go out and grab anybody that can put up a 20-25 type season. Absolutely.
Totally agree. Let's go to our next guy here. It's going to be Josh Lowe, the outfielder for Tampa Bay Rays. Just like the Rays themselves, he himself is off to a hot start. Seems like everybody on Tampa Bay is swinging a hot bat, but he's slashing 345, 406, slugging 690. He's got a hit in 6 of the last 9 games, including 4 multi-hit games. The only thing that concerns me about him, and that's with a lot of the Rays hitters, is the playing time. They love the platoon. They love to play the matchups, but he is forcing them to get him in that lineup because he is on fire. What do you think?
I mean, he's a top prospect, right? Again,
former first round pick.
Everybody the Rays has, I think everybody they ever get is top prospect, right? Yep. But like you said, they have a very small window to kind of impress with the Rays, and then they either get sent back down, or then they basically decided, like the Rays kind of know, and they kind of have a stamp on their forehead, like you will always be a left-handed platoon hitter, or you will always be right-handed platoon, or you're going to be a defensive replacement, and that's it. Like that's your like your job. And you're right, he is pushing the envelope. First off, just to tell people what happened right before the show, you and I were both like, is this Lowe or Lowe? Because there's so many Lowes and Lows at Tampa Bay. Again, they have so many good prospects, and they have a market on the Lowes and Lows of the world.
Yes.
But this is somebody who, again, was showing just amazing, just off the chart kind of talent in the minors, right? 2020 season, home runs, stolen bases. I mean, again, if we talk about Marsh, Josh Lowe's right there with kind of the power speed combo, and he's already delivering. I mean, 6 home runs in 9 games. I mean, yes, please. So, and only 1 stolen base. But let's be honest, with the new stolen base rules, I believe anybody Bartolo Colon could come back right now, and I'd be like, yeah, probably 10 stolen bases. I don't doubt it. But again, he is keeping the strikeouts in check. Last year, when he was in the majors, he was at above 30%. Right now, he's at 15%. Again, it's going to normalize. If that can stay about 20%, 25%, even in that range, you still have a fantastic hitter, because that's exactly where he was in the minors. When he starts creeping above that 25%, then that's absolute red danger zone. But with the hot streak that he's on, and with the team's hot streak, although, spoiler, they lost today, so the streak is over. But that clubhouse is ready. I mean, there's so much magic going on right now in Tampa. I think I've said this in the Fantasy Six Pack show yesterday as well. I want a piece of anybody that's hot, right? Just like when you're in Vegas and you want to be on the hot table, I want to be with the hot teams. So if I can get Josh Lowe, I'm all over it. Yep. Absolutely. And I'm going to see how much, are these changes for real? And it should be pretty cheap right now. Again, early in the season, people are going to be like, maybe they don't believe it. You probably grab them either off the waiver wire or probably trade them for probably almost nothing. So go out and grab them, put them in your lineup, or if you need to, just kind of wait another week if you don't trust it. But he is going to be a presence if he continues like this.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's going to go ahead and wrap up the Week 3 fantasy baseball waiver wire picks for us. If you want to get more names that you just heard, you're going to go ahead and over to fantasysixpack.net, subscribe. become a member today, and you can get access to 20 plus more names that could help you win your fantasy championship.
And the Dapscout.
Oh, that's
pick
right.
of the week. Yes.
Hey, that's on me, man. That's on me. I keep forgetting to
It's
shout out.
okay.
Go ahead.
It's all
Shout it
right
out.
because I'm 2-0. So I can't tell you what the last two were because
This is a round of applause.
right. Then my boss would kill me because Joe is he's big and strong. But this week is going to be another awesome one. I fully expect all of our members to take advantage of it and hopefully give me some more shout outs on Twitter. So again, become a member. You can see my pick of the week as well and all the additional picks that we have scoured through and picked specifically for our members.
Absolutely. See you next week.
Right.